Well, my friends, that is definitely a frozen canal. And considering this was at 3 pm, even the towpath itself hasn't thawed out. Yet, if we walk only a few hundred feet to where that stretch joins the Ellesmere Basin and the wider network, with that little flow of water, you can see the ice miraculously disappears, which is certainly handy. Well, my friends, we've still got ice from about 3 days ago here, so the towpath is not quite as muddy as it appears. Got the sun just about to start its final decline in the sky, but my goodness me, it's time to untie the ropes and get boating. Spoiler alert for later in this video, my friends. Within 40 minutes of setting out in freezing temperatures, I was being rained on, I was chilly, I was getting miserable, and I was getting damper by the moment, so I pulled over and tied the ropes up in a bit of a sulk, and then tried to convince myself that it was still a lovely trip as the sun was setting in the distance. Before we get into the main theme of this video, I just want to share this clip from a video I created a couple of winters ago, where it perfectly illustrates something I've been talking about recently, and that is the vast difference in temperature outside the boat in these chilly winter conditions to inside the boat with the fire going. So you just saw there, 10:30 at night, minus half a degree, frost and ice everywhere outside, yet inside, as if by magic, we're at about 25 degrees, nice and toasty. And that's pretty much all coming from the magic of the wood and coal burning fire, the absolute heart of the boat. And I also noticed this particular brief moment in the video where I'd bought just some cheap sawdust logs in that white bag and some of the cheap low quality coal. Those used to cost me 3 for a tenner. As you can see now, those are almost £8 each, and depending on where you look and shop around, for even just that low quality coal, it's a substantial increase from 3 for a tenner to £8 each. And even the fire logs themselves now creeping up from £1 to £1.50 each. And today, when I was looking for some, I picked up a couple of different brands, and I'm sure that they were a lot lighter than they used to be, despite being 50% price increase. So yeah, unfortunately, as everybody knows, we're not immune to the current cost of living issues going on out there. So anyway, I just want to share something with you here, my friends. So we've got beautiful icy freezing conditions and rural countryside sort of stuff, but in typical fashion, I was hoping to get some absolutely magical countryside footage under a glistening silver sparkly sheet, and well, this was the weather I was met with today. So not ideal conditions, where firstly you can't see across a grand vista of shimmering silver frost blanketed rural countryside, and secondly it's still really cold and miserable to be out filming in. Just for my own curiosity while I was editing here, I thought I would just put these little repeated pan shots from the bow of the boat, so you can see this is the morning after, and again that's the view, and magically the night before it was actually visible. So yeah, just another good indication and example of how changeable the winter weather can be, and how it's not necessarily always going to be bitterly cold or miserable and overcast and grey, but the chances are it could be anything at any time, and potentially for weeks on end. And I just wanted to shine the mega torch on the ground here to show that although the camera's doing its best to make this look like a nice well lit environment, the sun's setting here and it's actually a lot darker than the footage looks. You can probably tell that that's throwing out a significant amount of heat there, my friends. Too hot to actually hold the phone as close as I was at the start of this clip. I've quickly backed off. And I've got to say that realistically, even if it is expensive at the minute to keep pumping stuff into the fire, I'm actually really enjoying just being out and about in the living room and kitchen and having this constant fire going. And obviously you've got the magical fan on the top trying to pump the heat around the boat a little bit. But for the middle of the day, if there's any particular cold moments, then I will open the very dirty fire door and just thaw my hands out, for example, if I've been out and about walking or getting supplies, and then I will wait for the cold dark night to come and run away and hide in bed. To bring this video back to the actual experience of being out in these places and in these varied weather conditions, I'd like to just allow the camera to slowly pan around and follow our feathered friends here. And with it, it's going to reveal this misty, almost mythical environment. And that might sound ludicrously romantic, as so much of what I say is, but I almost feel that you can imagine a scene like this in a film where King Arthur rides off into the distance and slowly disappears into the mist, never to be seen again. And equally, I mean, take this for example. A little picture taken literally a couple of minutes from a supermarket and the urban world. You've got a frozen canal, you've got leaves resting on the top of it, almost as a wonderful sort of image and metaphor for the merging and passing of the seasons as the year is rapidly drawing to a close. Now, what's not quite so romantic is the state of that boat roof needing a good clean. You might actually see where I've cleaned off the very right hand side on the side of the rail there, but I made the mistake of not keeping on top of it, and then the almost necessity of stopping off and mooring up at the wonderful Blakemere here on my way past heading into Ellesmere. But of course, that fetched with it an awful lot of leaves that rested all along the top of the boat and a lot of grime and muck. But luckily, later on in that boat trip, once the rain had started to come, as if by magic, the roof looks a lot cleaner. So please, only view my boat for purchase if it's a rainy day. You can probably see here, this was the point where I made the joke earlier that I gave up and pulled over to the side in a sulk. But realistically, what an absolute honour and privilege to be able to spend any of your time out here in these places doing these things. And looking through the window the following morning, and this is what you're met with. A completely different environment to what I anticipated, but beautiful in its own way. And of course, with a fire crackling in the background, what more could you ask for, really? It's just another opportunity to share with you a little novelty I like about the canal in various seasons. So the canal over the summer and most of the year looks very brown because of all the disturbed mud. Yet here, because of such a low flow of traffic disturbing the base of the canal, you can actually see straight through, and it's got a very sort of beach-like quality to it there. Anyway, I think I should probably start wrapping this video up. So I'll say, please do check out my books about boat life, available as paperbacks and as Kindle books. You'll find links to those in the description, as well as me posting outdoorsy and boaty photos all over the place. So links in the description. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. Have a fantastic day. Keep it interesting. Keep it boat worthy. And of course, my friends, farewell.